What you see is what you get.
Vote. Super submissive. Like I want you to be submissive
Three. Focus on, I gotta submit and he gotta love me.
Two. You didn't talk about it, but I'm gonna talk about it.
One. It's your boy Mike B, and I'm rocking with my brother, the neighborhood therapist, and this is episode 14 of the Black Man Misunderstood podcast.
Kiko got them beats, baby.
Shit. Advocate, hope. Lesson starts when the teacher actually ends. Now, lesson starts when the teacher actually ends. Now, lesson starts when the teacher actually ends. Now, fuck them casual trends. We going all in. Now, welcome to the growth. Keep it brief, this how it goes. Some keep it real, others keep doing the most. Some keep it real, others keep doing the most. Some keep it real, others keep doing the most.
So this week it's gonna be tough for a lot of you guys out there because you like to bark orders and not listen at all. So I just wanted to let y'all know, bruh. Y'all need to listen more because God gave you 2 ears and 1 mouth. That's it. That's all I got to say, Mr. Therapist.
Hey, yo, that's how you coming, Mike.
That's how I'm coming.
Say less, man. Not to say that all our guests on special. We love all of y'all for coming on this podcast, but this one gonna hit a little different. Okay. I hype this woman up every chance that I get. If you are one of the few people that are part of my Facebook, you occasionally see her post pop up on my feed, and I know some of y'all be looking like, "Oh, what is that? Why is she speaking like that?" Don't worry about it, sweetheart. Just know this the one right here. Okay. I'm about to introduce Miss C. Anderson. She is a therapist. She is an author. She is a speaker. She's a phenomenal Black woman. She is royalty. And she probably got other attributes that we don't know about. But I'm going to let her get on here, bless this microphone. But before she does, I need to let these viewers know, these listeners know that this woman and Queen Nakia are focal to why we have this podcast. They gave me my first opportunity. They have a beautiful, beautiful, great podcast down to the white meat. You need to listen to that. And this is significant. This is huge, that she's even here to bless our airways with her knowledge. So Miss C. Anderson, what's up? What's up? How you?
Thank you so much. I had no idea. Just like real talk. I really believe in iron sharpening iron, and that's one of those moments. And so I'm thankful, and I'm like so excited to be here. Thank you so much, brothers. I appreciate it.
Appreciate
you, Queen.
So let's jump right into it. I know you get all these interviews. I know, people. Oh, Miss C, how do you do this? This? No, we're not doing that today. We're not doing that today. We're gonna hit you with these real questions, the questions I know you want to answer. Okay. First of all, who are you and what do you do? And why do you do it?
So I'm just me, ever evolving. Every day I wake up is a day for me to improve. Every day. Like, I don't know how I can bring that piece home for a lot of people, but I work every day to be better than I was yesterday. On the other side of that, I'm just kind of real. Like, what you see is what you get. I'm a therapist. I'm a mother. I'm a wife. I'm a friend. I just love life. I love what I do. I see the work that I do in the therapy room and outside, because I don't put limitations on that, but I see it as an opportunity to step into my own soul's purpose, my own calling, and really deliver wellness and accurate information and love and peace to people that look like us.
I appreciate that right there.
That's what I do, and I do it because I love us. I love Black folk, and there's nothing else I can I can say.
Hey, that was sweet. Straight to the point.
Yeah,
Facts.
yeah,
So I got a big question. Mike, are you ready?
Go ahead, bro. Start it up.
C, are you ready?
yeah.
So it's been a long transition from that day I was on that podcast to now. So let me show you the type of person that I've become since then.
So
Your thought process is unmatched to me. Okay. And after this podcast is over, the listeners are gonna feel the same way. So I'm gonna show them. What does the phrase strong Black woman mean to you?
whew. Brother, when I say that thing is a lie from the deepest, darkest, most racist, most Karen feminized pit of society that is killing and harming and damaging us, it means nothing to me. Before we started, I presented to a group of women, and I was talking about trauma and domestic violence because that's really where I cut my teeth. And one of the things I brought up to them was because when someone comes to you and tell you that they're hurting, you don't tell them to be strong. Okay, that's not the response. And that right there, I said, it brings me right back to how we are programmed as Black women to be strong. Like, to say that any other thing outside of us looking like strength, right, is weakness. Our vulnerability, like, is weakness. Our femininity, our softness, our desire to be led, that's weak. Right. So on the flip side, you get Black women that operate in this space of masculinity. So let me talk about this. And I'm gonna preface this conversation with this. This isn't a conversation about gender identity. Okay. That's not what this conversation is, or that's not what this line of questioning is. I'm speaking energetically. Okay. So we're talking about the feminine and the masculine energy that exists in everyone, regardless of gender identity. And
Yep.
so in our community, within cisgendered relationships, there is this belief that Black women can do it all. And we get this false belief, right, from white-centered, Eurocentric feminism. I'm a boss bee. I don't know if y'all cuss on your podcast.
We sure do.
Okay, I'm a boss.
Well, the neighborhood therapist does.
I'm a boss bitch. I'll say bitch, right?
No, you good.
It puts us in this place of leading all the time, of hardness all the time, of almost, my mentor, his name is Dr. Jeff Emcee. Brother, you got to experience him not too long ago. Same combo. It puts us in a place of hardness. And so the strong Black woman trope is actually a stereotype, and it's a harmful stereotype. It makes Black women look like and devoid of emotion. It makes us one-dimensional. It makes us neglect all the other beautiful parts of our womanhood. And I can't get with that. I just can't get with it. So that's what I feel about strong Black woman.
Fire, yo. Let me follow up to Steve's thing, because if you don't know, or I know the neighborhood therapist already know, my sister basically brought me up my entire life. So to hear how you broke that down just now and to understand the conversations that me and my sister have, it makes total sense because she tried to take everything on her own, and then as she got older, she started to realize that she couldn't do that because she had to focus on herself and make sure she was good. So I appreciate that breakdown and explanation because just by having a conversation with my sister, and I seen her in her vulnerable side. I seen her when she's doing her thing. I seen
Right.
when she's been down, even though she might not want to tell me she's down, but I've seen it. So I completely understand how you broke that down. And woo, when I saw
Like,
it, when I saw that post a couple of weeks, it was just crazy. Yeah.
and in the post that I made, and I'm not gonna say it went viral, but it was shared a couple of hundred times, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if we got enough time, but I'm gonna try to get it all in. I'm gonna try to get it all in.
Go ahead.
because it's all interconnected. Okay. So when I made that post, and for those who are listening who maybe didn't see it, the post was very short and very concise. It said something like, "The strong Black woman myth is a toxic space where Black queens operate in their masculinity." That was all the post said. I didn't call any woman a man. I didn't say that it wasn't okay to be strong at times, right? But I had people DM me, a cousin, as a matter of fact, DM me and was like, no, she commented on the thing and she did the GIF. That's the dude that turned around like, what? With all the question marks. Right. So my response was, if you don't understand this statement, then just say that and we can have a conversation about it. Right. Because we're not going to talk in GIFs. Okay. This is a topic that deserves conversation. And so she kind of was like, well, I mean, what are you talking about? Like, I think that you're strong, and I think, this and this and that. Just like, she really didn't get it. And that's because she is a person that operates in masculinity. All of her sisters and her mama, okay, right, raised by a single woman. That's the authority. This is what happens when we have that. And ladies, I'm not saying that you can't raise your kids, but what I'm saying is, what happens when nature, right? Just nature, just balance, right? Laws of balance. That feminine energy and that masculine energy, there has to be a balance of that, right? So when you have a woman that she's the sole authority, or even if she's in a household with a man and she's still the dominant force, right? Women look at that, well, girls, and they grow up to become women who do the same. Men grow up to become men. Well, boys grow up to become boys who see women as the authority. Okay. So then you got men that marry or get with women who are dominant and authoritative. Right. And then you have women who don't know how to fall back and allow a man to do what men are naturally inclined to do. Right? Men and women are different. We're just different. And there's nothing wrong with it. I like it. Like I love it. I love being a woman. And that's for anybody who identifies as a woman. Right? Because we can even pull into that our transgender women. Right? This is a thing. So if that is the case, right? If we could watch, what was the movie? Queen and Slim, right? Great contrast. Let's talk about that real quick. Dr. Jeff actually has a breakdown of this film on his website. India Moore is a trans woman. Okay, she's an actress on Pose. She's also in Queen and Slim. When they go to Louisiana, they go to the uncle's house. Remember, he has a house. He got his girls in the house, right? So he has India, right? Her character, who's very soft, very feminine, very caring, very loving, very receptive. She ain't weak by no means. Okay. But then on the flip side, you got the other girl. I can't even remember her name, and she popping her neck, snapping her fingers,
Yeah.
calling them names, right? Nigga, you get the drink, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the one thing that India Moore's character says is he may not be shit on the outside, right? Out in this world. But when he comes through these doors, he's a king.
Mm-hmm.
Mm. Mm.
Okay. So we're not even talking about cisgenderedness right now. I'm talking about energy, the energy that you bring to your man, the energy that you bring to your children. That's what we're talking about. Okay. So, you know, when I made that post, you know, and y'all know because clearly you guys have been looking on my page and you follow me and you comment things like that, right? A lot of the things that I post is precisely to get people to see, think about, re-examine the way that we think. Because the way that we are thinking, Black collective, man, it's so limited. It's so programmed. So when I even part my lips or get my thumbs to popping to make a statement that Black women are often operating in masculine energy, people, I get name called. People come like it. It don't bother me because I know who I am. But you know, we can have a convo about it. Like, let's talk about it. Why does this make you so defensive? So immediately when I said that, women get defensive. So somebody came in my inbox and she was like, I mean, aren't you strong? I see you as strong. I said, but baby, my strength is that I fall all the way back into my feminine self.
Mm. Mm.
Yeah, they don't like that. See, you got to say that again. They don't like that.
Yeah, repeat that.
My strength, right? I said, what you're seeing is me falling back into my femininity, falling all the way back into it. So real quick, let's talk about the difference between feminine and masculine energy, right? The yin and the yang.
Go ahead, Queen.
So the yin energy is the energy that is creative. Women are creative, right? You know, the ultimate creation is the womb, right? Like us creating
Mm-hmm.
life, right? And so our energy is free flowing, okay? It's receptive. It's passive, meaning this is what passive means. Okay, we're not talking about weakness. We're not talking about communication style and aggressive passive. Passivity is the opposite of intentional force. Okay, so this is men, right? You pushing, like you making your way, right? Like you asserting yourself. You saying what you want. Well, I'm here with this, like like I'm here, right? I don't
Mm-hmm.
have to force. I flow. Okay. And so, but these two different energies make life work. It just makes it balances, right? It makes
Yep.
things work. And that's okay. So I'm not saying that women don't need to be strong, blah, blah, blah. I'm just saying that you can expect certain things when you operate in the masculine all the time, when you're constantly having to tell people what to do, constantly making decisions, constantly,
Woo.
constantly. I'm tired just saying that.
Woo. Go ahead, see you preaching right now. Woo.
I mean,
Mm-hmm.
you know, I'm tired just saying that. I love being able to be in a relationship, right? I've been married almost 16 years. This June is going to be sweet 16 for me. Okay. A girl was like, "Oh my God, this got pick me energy all over it." Honey, I was picked 16 years ago. What about you? So pick me for that.
Yo.
Speak, Queen.
And
Speak.
real talk, you want to be picked, sis. That's why you do all that contour and all that other stuff to yourself because you're trying to get picked, honey. If you come over here, I can give you these gems, right?
Talking.
But no, we get defensive and we call our sisters, right? Who think differently than we do. We don't think about what they're bringing up. We just, we get defensive, shut down. And, oh, she picked Misha.
Mm.
Okay, I be that. If that means me being in a relationship that I have, operating the way that I do, living the life I do, right?
Yeah.
Loving myself, I be that all day. But you over here doing the most for the least.
Ooh, repeat that one more time. Repeat that one more time.
But you over here doing the most for the least. You giving your yoni, right? You giving your innermost parts to dudes who don't even deserve access to you. Let's talk about that. Like this stuff is deep. It's
Yeah.
it's deep and it's all connected. It's all connected. So I'm gonna be quiet and
Look, look, you ain't got to be quiet. We loving this. But yeah. You want to jump in here? Because I'm about to
listen,
jump in real quick.
listen. Well, are we gonna go into the relationships, Mike? You ready?
Yeah, but before we hop right into that, I want to make this point that she said earlier about
Okay.
the feminine energy, how it flows, and masculine energy it hits.
Mm-hmm.
Because I've heard this in so many different ways people don't realize. So I've heard this one saying: you give a woman food, she makes a meal. You give a woman a sperm, she makes a child. So I definitely get where she's going with that flowing energy and that hard hitting energy. It makes sense. We bring this, you make that. I love it. I love it.
there you go. And the thing is that's okay. Because this is what we don't realize. There's a sister named um is Dr. I don't think she's a doctor, but she be dropping gems. And I don't want to pronounce her first name wrong, but um, Shahrazad Ali, and she had a book back in the early '80s that it was a lot of controversy around it, but she's still preaching. Her book was called "The Black Man's Guide to Understanding the Black Woman," and I believe she had another one, Are You Still a Slave? She talked about the things that your parents should have told you. Like she talks about all these concepts in the Black community that continue to interrupt and keep us from being what we need to be. And when I say what we need to be, I'm hearkening back to who we were before we were enslaved, right? So the village concept, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm talking about that when we started to, because remember this, feminism, because people go, what do you mean feminism doesn't include Black women? Black women are women. All right, let's talk about that, because Susan B. Anthony ended up parting ways with Frederick Douglass because she was fighting for women's rights and he was fighting for us, for Black people. And she said, I got these white supremacists I'm trying to pander to so we can get these women's voting rights passed. So I'm not really about to get into the race thing, right?
Mm.
So it didn't include the plight of Black women. Okay, when they got to vote, guess who couldn't? We couldn't.
Talk on it.
So how does feminism include us? It doesn't. And so if the hierarchy in this country is white men, white women, Black men, and Black women, you got white women telling Black women to leave and come from up under their men. And guess who they're going to be up under?
Ooh.
Guess who they're going to be up under? White women and white men. And we going, yep, because I'm a boss bitch. I do this, I do that. I don't need no man. What I need a man for? I don't need no man. That's what's happening. That's what, and guess who? So when we come from up under our men, or we have this, and we're the only race that has such a intense disdain for our own men. I've never heard an Asian sister degrade an Asian man. Never.
These are facts.
Ooh.
I have never heard a Latina degrade a Latino man or say I'm a strong Latina. I've never heard that.
Oh wow.
But we are constantly pushing I'm a strong Black woman, which says I don't need nobody. And so while you over here being strong, ma'am, Becky with the good head got your king.
Mm.
You know how she got your king? Because she receptive, she living in her feminine energy, and she over here fixing his plate. And you over here by yourself, miserable, talking about you strong. Go be strong, sis. Go do that. This stuff is it's systematic.
Mm.
They benefit from us not accepting and being loving towards each other. They benefit from our families being broken. Have you ever seen a Black woman go up to a school to fight for her son or her child?
Mm-hmm.
Very different reception than if a Black man goes up to the school to fight on behalf of his child.
Oh, that is so true, yo.
Mm-hmm.
It's I need people to get this. Because at the end of the day, it's us we're suffering from this type of programming. We're suffering. They're winning and benefiting, right? They benefit from us maintaining this. Oh my God. What you mean? Hey, you can't be strong. I'm strong. I don't got a man. I got my own place. I got my own car. I got my own stuff. INDEP. Really?
And I love how you was about to say something, and I'm gonna say this. There's a difference about being strong and being independent that you can do your own thing. It doesn't mean you don't need nobody. It's just
I want us to be self-sufficient.
Uh-huh.
That's and just like that's healthy. That's a natural psychological progression, right? Is to grow from being a baby into a fully functional, healthy adult. Absolutely. But this other stuff, child. Okay.
Let me jump out the window. Mike, don't catch me either.
Nah, you good. Go ahead, bro. Go ahead. You know, look.
So Queen C.
Yes.
What are your thoughts on the stereotypical Black man that feels like, hey, Queen, can you cook me a hot meal? Can you have a hot meal ready for me? Can you wash these clothes? Just the stereotypical traditionalist way of thinking. What's your thoughts on that? Do you feel that our queens should be doing that to cater to their man, to please their man? Beyonce and them had the song "To Me Cater to You," and a lot of women were rocking with it to an extent. They was like, I ain't trying to do all that. But to us, the fellas, we was like, I'm gonna admit to it. When I hear cater to you, I'll be like, damn, I'm not mad at that.
Right.
But
Facts.
you know what I'm saying? But my thing is, I just don't want it to go too far where you're like super submissive. Like I want you to be submissive in an extent, but I don't want it to go too far. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So let's kind of talk about the origin of that. Okay.
Okay.
So many people think that affirmative action came about so that we could go to the universities of our choosing or get jobs, right? Affirmative action came about when white feminists started pushing to go into the workforce, right? So in the 50s, late 40s, when women were leaving the traditional places like the home, right?
Mm-hmm.
Going into the workforce, it left absenteeism in the house. Okay. Because here's the thing, as a businessman, I used to work in corporate America before I went, because I had enough of it. So before I went to grad school.
Hold on. You can't just say that. Where you went to grad school at?
Okay, so I went to undergrad at the Howard University.
Go ahead.
HU, and then I went to grad school at Troy University.
Okay.
But for a while, I worked in the private sector. I worked for a what is it called? I worked for a government contracting firm in DC for about 2 years, and then I worked another 2 years for a trade organization in which I was the only Black woman. I was often around other senior level men from companies that are very recognizable. I'm sitting down with the CEOs of just names that you got around your house, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm listening, ears always to the ground. One of the things I learned was that the 40-hour work week, right? The 8-hour work day was never created for both men and women to pursue at once. Okay? So it was created for the breadwinner to be there for 8 hours and then the other person to be taking care of the things of the home. Right? This equal division of duty. Okay? So in the 50s, when you had the push for women to be equal, to go into the workforce and alongside with their husbands work these 8-hour work days, then that meant that, and if you can flip it if you want, if it makes you more comfortable, if you had a woman working 8 hours and a man at home, vice versa, that meant that things were going to get neglected in one place or the other. Okay?
Mm.
Right. So with that change, right? Because it used to be the man was either going into the factories or going into the office, and they were working, and then the wife was at home doing. Because I can't do all that stuff in a weekend, so that's another story. But the wife, the wife or that partner was doing all these other things. There was balance in existence because we need money, clean house, food, other things to be handled so that we can have a full existence, right? So when both people went to the workplace, some things started to be neglected. So that's the first part. The other part is, yes, our white cohorts, right? Like so our white sisters and brothers or cousins, however you want to refer to them. So they too, white man was going to work, white lady was at home, had a little dress on. She was, honey, your dinner is ready. Kids are, Bobby and Jill are sitting here. Right? This, if you think this 1950s kind of vision, same concept, right? But his plate was fixed. So that means like dinner was ready, right? So that other part of the balance of this relationship was done. In Black communities, it was a little different. It wasn't just about fixing his plate and dinner being done. It was because guess what? He had to go into the back door of a restaurant to get lunch, or he had to pack his lunch because he can't even go into a restaurant to eat, or he's constantly being told that he's not a man. That's why they had that protest, those signs that say, I am a man, because Black men were constantly told that they were not. And so our great grandmothers and grandmothers worked especially hard to make sure that they felt that they were 5/5 of a man in the house. That's where we had our control.
Yep.
That was our locus of control, right? So, and he was doing everything he could to protect us at home. You know how many grandfathers watched windows at night with pistols and shotguns to make sure their family was good?
Mm.
So just when you ask me, when you say, do our queens today, how they feel about catering and fixing a plate, a lot of them feel it's beneath them because they don't need a man.
Mm.
Do you see how that comes right back around?
Yeah.
Come full circle.
This is cyclical. And this isn't about inferiority or superiority, in a relationship. This is about a cycle that's being perpetuated for a very specific reason that we are not even conscious of.
Mm.
So let me ask you this. Based on that information, right? How do we as men get on the same page with our queens if our queens ain't even on the same page? as themselves.
Bro, you just asking them bangers right now.
I mean, I gotta know.
number, I think the first thing is to continue to have these kinds of real conversations. And one of the things that I feel in my heart that I have been tasked with is to disarm the defensiveness of my sisters. When we see the words, "Are you your brother's keeper?" Right? Am I my
Mhm.
sister's keeper?
Mhm.
Yeah, I am. And that means that I'm going to bring to the forefront our own ish.
Mm.
My interest in this is the 50% that I'm responsible for, which is me and my sisters and my girls, my daughter, right? So it's my job to say, yeah, sis, you killing it. You driving and you making it, but you can have double that. You get with a king, right?
Mm.
You could
Speak on it.
build. You could have a whole power structure and leave a legacy. Can't do that alone. So I think that
Facts.
women have to be willing to be held accountable. And I wasn't always in this space, right? Because remember, I had been sold the same story and drink the same Kool-Aid. I
Mhm.
was raised by a single mother. So for a while I was like, what I need a man for? I can have a kid by myself, I can get a job, I can have a house, I can have this car. Like, I don't need a man, right?
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm saying I was sold the same program. But when you start to expand your consciousness and when you really start to look at the ills of what's happening, trying to figure out the genesis, trying to figure out the root, it goes right back to man and woman. Because that's where it starts. That's where life
Mm.
starts. So it goes right back there. And that's when I started to say, with my own guidance and my own mentorship, I was like, God dang, like this is crazy. This is crazy. And I had to challenge my own beliefs and get out of my own way and say, girl, you got some shit to deal with.
Mhm.
Mm.
So I couldn't start to see and come into this space until I was accountable, ladies, for my own stuff.
Mm.
So remember I talked about that refinement process, right?
Yep.
Every day me working to be better than I was yesterday. I got to deal with my own stuff first. That's how I came. That's why people are inboxing me now going, "Hey, you've been on some different stuff lately. Like, where's this coming from?" Right? That elevation is what you're seeing. That elevation of thought, consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you're seeing. I had a brother inbox me. He was like, hold on, I'm gonna see if I can find it and read it to you. I get a lot of inboxes, people asking questions, or sisters coming in. Oh my God, some people saying, how do I get more of that kind of information, right?
Mhm.
So a brother messaged me. He was like, hey, I noticed that you've been going in on the sisters lately. Like, what's brought that in? And I said to him, I said, I'm not really necessarily going hard on them, but because of my own transformation, there's certain things I can no longer subscribe to and no longer support and preach, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's what you're seeing. And I tell anybody, this is Facebook. Like, you don't have to follow me.
That's a fact.
You don't have to see my post. And if you disagree with it, I absolutely respect it. Everybody has their own path and their own journey.
Yep.
But the folks that want to catch this wave, let's go. Let's get it.
Bruh. Bruh. I'm enjoying this right
Come
here,
on,
bro.
Mike. Come on,
Yo.
Mike.
Oh man, so she's just dropping a whole bunch of different points, and I just wanted to take it to Christianity just real quick.
Okay.
Real quick. Real quick.
Come on, Mike. Why you want to do this, man?
No. I'm gonna do no. You gonna see why you gonna see why I'm doing it. You gonna see why I'm doing it. Just understand.
uh,
So there's a particular scripture. It's in Ephesians. If I'm quoting correctly, it's Ephesians chapter 5, verse 22 to like 33. So it's one of the most famous ones when it comes to talking about relationships and the women submitting, right?
all right.
So I've started to like come to more of an understanding of that full verse in my own relationships and lives and just thinking wise and just having this conversation sparked another a thought in me. So when I read that scripture and it says women submit and it tells the man to love, right? Because that's how we were made.
Okay.
People when women hear that word submit, they always cringe, cringe, and I don't understand it because the way I interpret it for myself is like, yes, the man is the head and whatnot, right? But I think it's more so looking as a leader by example model. And that's how I try to live that scripture now. It's leading by example and not barking. It's doing more and doing what I need to do. That if I ask someone else to do it, there's no hesitation; they're gonna do it. So that's where I was. That's what I wanted to just bring up that point with that scripture because I feel like people read that scripture and just focus on, oh, I gotta submit and he gotta love me. All right, that's it. I'm like, no, that ain't it.
So let me there's a couple of points I want to make about that, right? Because you said something very important. And you don't want to get me talking about the origins of the Bible. That's the first thing.
I was trying to warn him.
I know. It's all good. So that's why I was touching on it.
So I will save that for another conversation. If we have a conversation about blackness or the black church, then we'll talk about that. But that scripture, right? It's very important that we remember it has two parts. It says women submit and men love, right? We talked earlier and I said that submission, i.e. the feminine energy, a characteristic of that is receptivity. So if you can't submit, you can't even be receptive to love.
Ooh. That's why I brought it up because I knew she was going.
If you can't open yourself up, right? Because remember, we flow, y'all. Y'all are the force. So if you can't even open yourself up, you can't even get love.
Damn, that's on so many levels. See, that's like spiritually,
Yes.
sexually.
Yes.
God damn, see? Oh my goodness.
That's
now you see why I brought it up? Come on,
and
bro.
that's the point.
Ooh.
That's the point. And you can't even receive what you won't even give yourself.
Wow.
It's it's deep, and that's why I'm so passionate about this work is because it is, if we don't realize this, we're continuing to do self-harm. We're continuing to harm ourselves under the guise of making it and being a boss bitch. The joke is on us. The joke is on us. Right? So let's talk more about this submission piece, right? And I recently did I hope you guys can come. I'm gonna have another intensive and it's gonna be open to men and women soon. So I want you guys to go ahead, travel, like come receive, come kick it, come experience. But in the last one I did, and it was specifically in my workshop, the power of femininity. I asked women to really think about, number one, what did you learn from your mother, aunties, the women around you what are your beliefs about men? Because if I believe that men are good leaders, have my best interest at heart, and I'm just talking about Black men, right? In a romantic way. If I believe that they're going to protect me, right? I'm more likely to be willing to submit versus men are dogs. They take advantage of you. They're gonna do this to you. They're gonna do that to you. I'm gonna be closed off and defensive all the time, right? So that's one part of it. But sis, I get women I get women all the time that say, oh my, I do this, and I want my husband to lead. And I'm like, well, go ahead, let him lead. But I can't because everything gonna fall through the cracks. So why you pick them? You picked them. You picked them because you could run them. And now it's backfiring on you. You tired.
Mm.
Women that operate in that way need men with which they can operate in that way. So if I'm leading and I'm doing everything and I'm in this masculine space the way I move, I need a man who is going to let me do that. Then you get worn out and tired. I had a couple come, and they had been married for years. And she was like, I want my husband. He don't do nothing. I do this. And she naming all this stuff she did. I said, I said, when did that start? Well, when we started dating, I said, woo. So from the beginning. So why you want him to be something different now
Ooh.
than what you married? You picked that.
Mm.
But you want him to be something different now because you're tired and you worn out. Who are you selecting, right? Are you selecting a man that you don't have to submit to because you're scared and you don't want to? A man that you can run, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or are you picking a man who has alpha energy, who's constantly refining himself, who doesn't get swayed by somebody being in his ear, who is not concerned with what people think about him, and who has a direct connection with his highest purpose, his plan, and is not going to deviate? Because you ain't about to be running nothing over there. Right? So figuring out if you have such an aversion for submission outside of trauma, okay, we're not talking about that, then why is that? Did you watch your mama submit to somebody and he took all the money? True story.
Ooh.
Yikes.
Right? Like we got to think about, what are these blocks, and why are they there? Because usually blocks and barriers are there for protective purposes. And in this case, it can become, maladaptive or harmful.
Mm.
So yeah, did you marry a man who's got some beta/sip energy?
Yeah, people gotta look in the mirror for sure.
Yeah,
Definitely.
yeah.
Wow. Now listen. The queen has been on a rampage this episode. She has been blessed enough. We know time is limited. So I'm gonna knock out 3 final questions that I got for you, Queen. Mike, is there anything you want to jump in?
Nah, see, I already did my jump in there. I'm good. I'm good, bro. I'm good.
Okay. So first of all, Queen, this is not a question, but it's one of my things that I have for you. I need you to explain the I am initiative that you have. Because that's very intriguing.
Okay. So the I am experience came out of a need that I saw for Black women in particular, to have spaces that were just for us, for healing purposes, and an opportunity for us to be vulnerable and open, to learn receptivity, to gain more knowledge about where we came from before we were enslaved persons, to get connected with our true nature as creators, because those spaces were very aware. We have lots of spaces that teach Black women how to be leaders. But when you come home at night, you're lonely and miserable.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't have to have somebody in order to be, to not be lonely. So I'm not even talking about you come home, and there's nothing. You come home and you don't even like yourself.
Good Lord. See?
You come home and you can't stand yourself. That's why the I am experiences were created.
Right, Queen. Yeah, for sure, for sure. Okay. Moving right along. See, what is the biggest lesson life has taught you thus far?
Man, that question. The biggest lesson that I've learned is that I don't know everything. And I don't know what I don't know.
Hey, Socrates.
And because of that, being teachable, hearing and listening are three things that I walk this earth with every day. That's my biggest lesson thus far.
Oh,
Mm.
what you gonna do with that, man? Come on now.
She over it. Just keep dropping them gems. She got a whole bag. She's like, pour it over.
I'm telling you, bro. Jeez. She went to Wakanda herself, bro.
Got
Vibranium
that
in that bag,
branium.
bro.
Facts.
Oh man, Queen, we definitely enjoyed you. My final question for you: what do you want listeners to take away from this episode, and how can they reach you?
So first I'll tell you how you can reach me. My website is C Anderson, CEAnderson live. So candersonlive.com. All of my social media handles are at C Anderson Live. So Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. So that Clubhouse, you definitely want to catch me on Clubhouse because I'm about to start a series with a if y'all think I'm dropping gems, this brother is, yeah, y'all go ahead and connect on Clubhouse. So y'all can get these things. But what I would leave your listeners with is the opportunity is to embrace the opportunity for growth. Anytime you find yourself in a situation where it stings, it hurts, it's uncomfortable, you have an aversion or you have this immediate response to run towards that thing. And yeah, there's some safety concerns, that's not what I'm talking about. But if somebody tells you something or somebody brings a piece of information to you, don't always be so quick to dismiss it because you don't know what you don't know. So be open to examine and then make a decision about, dismissing whatever that piece of information or that opportunity is for change. Because those are the times and the places where growth comes in. And and if I had wrote something off because I disagreed with it or because it was contrary to what I had been made to believe or taught, I'd be a boss bitch right now. Like, I'd be stuck in that space, right?
Yeah.
So allow, being challenged, right? Being seeing things from a different lens or perspective, looking at the other side. That can always be, helpful if you allow it to be. So be open to growth and new ideas.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I got the opportunity to follow this up. Okay. I don't know how I'm gonna do this, but I'm gonna attempt. Okay. The queen has come on here. She has blessed the airways with all this vibranium. We're not calling them gems no more. So when you post this, Mike, the queen was dropping vibranium.
Vibranium.
Okay.
I'm down with it.
Vibranium. Okay. Let me attempt to drop a gem. Because I'm not gonna be able to drop no vibranium after this. She done took them all. She mined them all. Okay. So watch this, Mike. We're gonna go into our marketing and mental health segment, right?
Mm-hmm.
My mental health tip of the day is give people their flowers while they are here.
Mm-hmm.
If they inspire you, let them know. So, Queen, I'm here to let you know on the podcast, you are an inspiration to me. You are an inspiration to what I do in my marriage. Some of those things you say on Facebook, on your lives, I take them, I nourish them, I put them in my head, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna address this a little different. I'm gonna move a little different. And I put what would C do in my head? That's something I do. With anybody that inspired me, I always put what would such and such do. So you are one of those inspirations in my life. You so much of an inspiration. You didn't talk about it, but I'm gonna talk about it. This Love Taps book. This Love Taps book I got here in my hands, y'all. This the one. Okay. This is the one. Y'all need to read this book. I'm not gonna offer up anything other than y'all need to read this book. I'm not gonna tell you what it's about. I just want y'all to understand. Y'all know the neighborhood therapist. Y'all know I'm a voracious reader. I need y'all to read this book. This is life changes, life altering. She tell you about manipulative men. See, I told you I wasn't gonna tell you this about, but y'all need to go ahead and read this book, okay? Because it's necessary for queens and kings.
Ooh, bro, you done dropped another book I need to go get. Come
Hey,
on
bro,
now.
come on now, man. I got him. I got him.
I certainly was not expecting that. You hit me with the Funky Finger Productions. Damn.
Oh yeah. I often
Thank
come
you.
back to this book. I often come back to it.
Thank
There's so
you.
many gems in there.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Yeah, so now I will be getting the book. Don't worry. As soon as we're done here, I will be ordering it. Trust me, I am a man of my word.
Right.
If you order it, please leave a comment.
Oh,
Please,
of course.
please leave a review.
Definitely. So the therapist then gave his mental health tips. So I gotta give my marketing tip of the day. And since the episode was called Men Are You Listening? Because you do have a lot of male listeners. Yeah, I hope you listened to Miss C. Anderson earlier today. She dropped a whole bunch of gems. And even the women, you definitely learned something from her today too.
Oh yeah.
Please. No question about it. But on to marketing. So when it comes to marketing to women, people need to understand men or women are not the same. It's been repeated this entire episode. Feminine energy, masculine energy. You have to understand who you're marketing into. You got to understand the differences of behaviors also. So when you do promote your product, service, or anything, you got to get into the mindset of the consumer. If it's a female or if it's a male, woman, man, whatever terms you want to use, you have to understand there is a difference. And that is Michael's marketing tip of the day.
Right,
Real
brother.
talk, both of y'all. Real talk.
Thank you. Appreciate it. But whoo, that was a banger of an episode, bro.
Oh
What you think?
yeah. Oh yeah. That's phenomenal. I just want to say this to the listeners. The majority of you men that's listening to this, I need y'all to put y'all significant others onto the Black Man Misunderstood podcast. This episode specifically, because all it's going to do is help you. You want to help yourself? Put this episode on because the queen has dropped vibranium.
Facts.
Come on. I mean, We did you a favor. You're welcome. Matter of fact, tell C thank you, Queen. You know what? When y'all hear this episode, if it resonates with you, I want you to go find her Facebook, find her Instagram, buy the
It'll be
book.
tagged.
No,
It'll be
I
tagged.
want all of that. I want y'all to find her, and I just want y'all to put thank you, C, and she gonna know why y'all doing it.
Facts.
I'm serious. I want y'all to flood. Thank you, C. If you really rock with the Black Man Misunderstood podcast, you'll do that for us.
Y'all are too funny.
Hey, this is what we do.
Too funny. I appreciate it. If anybody got any questions, I'll tell you like I tell folks on down to the white meat, Nikki and I got questions or concerns, reach out. You disagree, you can still reach out. It ain't gonna do much, but no. I consider all opinions, and I take feedback. I call them growth gifts. So I take feedback as an opportunity to grow, whether it's positive, negative. There's always growth in that. So yeah.
And we appreciate that vibranium drop too.
A little vibranium nugget, bro.
Yeah.
Queen, we definitely appreciate you, Queen. This has been an education for sure.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate you guys, and keep up the good work.
Thank you. Mike, you got anything?
With that said, folks, we see y'all next week. And listen, we done dropped all these vibranium gems, whatever you want to call them. This episode, man, you just got to keep tuning in week to week, folks.
Absolutely.
And with that said, I'm out.
For sure. Make love now.
Kiko got them beats, baby.